Welcome back, friends. If you are new here, my name is Melissa. I'm the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So today's video is a little bittersweet. This is the last Malabrigo quarterly box of 2025 that was shipped out in December. I've been getting these quarterly boxes from Jimmy Beans since their collaboration started, and then I formerly was getting Malabrigo quarterly boxes when they collaborated with another organization before that organization closed their doors. So I will not actually be renewing my subscription with Jimmy Beans for the Malabrigo quarterly box in 2026. I'm going to open this December box with you guys and show you what was in it, and then I'll explain to you why I'm choosing to step away from the subscription. So let's start with the good stuff, which is always the yarn. As always, Malabrigo or Jimmy Beans always has a mood board. I will see if I can scrounge up a copy of it and put it on the screen here. And this month, we got 3 skeins of Malabrigo Rios, which is a heavy DK light worsted yarn. I did get 3 skeins. It is in color Suspariso, and it came packaged just like this, which was a little bit different. And my 3 skeins are kind of all different. It is a beautiful variegated yarn. It does look like there are some pinks, some oranges, some blues, some neutrals, maybe some dark greens. If you're not familiar with Rios, I think it's one of their most popular bases, if not the most popular. It's approximately 210 yards in a 100-gram skein. It is 100% superwash merino. This is a real workhorse yarn. I have no idea what I am going to do with this, but it is lovely. Now, a couple of my skeins seem to definitely have more pinks in them, which I really love. So we'll see. They, of course, always smell like vinegar, like Malabrigo always does. I don't particularly have again, I haven't sat down to pick out a pattern for this. My friend Amy used to work with Jimmy Beans up until recently, and she always did a lovely job of, in the Ravelry discussion forum for Jimmy Beans, having a Malabrigo thread and giving spoiler, reveals that you could look at, and then giving some really great ideas for patterns, whether they be knitting patterns and crochet patterns, and they would be patterns that you could do solely with just what you were getting in your package, or by also pairing it with other Malabrigo, like tonal colorways that coordinate, so that if you wanted to do a larger project, you could. Now, we have always been sent an email later on where we could order more of what the base colorway was. So that's always been incredibly helpful as well. Now, let's talk about the accessories. So this year for the club unboxing, there was supposed to be 4 travel size accessories that would match, and up to this point we've gotten like really small accessories like notions pouches. I really liked the iridescent finish to them. It was in this lavender colorway, but our final one, again, packaged in a Ziploc bag, which was highly unusual. Having a crinkling. But this is one of their Della Q bags. And it's really small. Now, it has pouches inside. It has a zipper pouch there on the inside. There's a lot going on here. It is pretty small. It's not going to hold any project for these 3 skeins. So I did find that slightly unusual that they would send us something that essentially only holds a 1 skein project. Now, again, everything was supposed to be travel size. This does kind of match the other objects. You can go back to my previous videos if you're really interested in what those things were. In years past, I want to say the year that I liked the most, we got full-size Delaque pouches, and they were in really unique like patterns and colorways that I get to this day still amazing compliments. Like, they're just really cool looking. This doesn't look any different from their normal lineup. So though this will get plenty of use because I like the Delaque snap bags, I don't have any that have a lot of these pouches, but for me, this is really like a sock pouch. It just has the one handle that's, for me, not in the greatest location. I guess it's meant to maybe dangle from here and, knit, but the way that it's designed, I guess if you have it snapped, then nothing's going to fall out, but I'm not digging the structure of this. So though I will use it, it's also not very wide. So this, again, it'll get used. I just don't know in what capacity it will get used. It's purple, so I love it. But everything else was like this iridescent, like silvery purple color. So this is odd to me because nothing on this coordinates with those things. So let's talk about their 2026 club. Here is their mood board, or their 4 mood boards together. And I will say that this really speaks to me. These colors speak to me. This is my wheelhouse. And they're saying that you'll get shipments in March, June, September, and December. The cost is $69.95 for the box. It gets charged on the 19th of that shipping month. So if they're shipping in March, you'll get charged on March 19th, and then they will, about a week later, ship it to you. So you're going to get 2 to 3 skeins of Malabrigo, and they are seasonally inspired. So we got Rios for December. I want to say last year and the year before we got, not last year, but the year before, I want to say we got like bulky weights. So they definitely kind of navigate each quarter by you're getting a different base that is seasonally appropriate. For 2026, they say that you're also getting a piece of a maker's essential kit that will take each maker from swatching through block. For me, this is where the pricing structure gets really tricky for me because it's the extras, like 3 skeins of Rios. So let's talk about that. If it costs $69.95 to join, because they're going to charge you shipping on top of that. That shipping's not included. So shipping's not in that. So I want to say Rios retails at my local yarn shop for $16 a skein. So that's $48 right here. So that means that what I'm paying for above and beyond those 2 to 3 skeins is valued at $21.95. These retail for $25 on the site. So you're definitely, in this case, getting your money's worth. But I want to say last month, like the Delaque Glow collection is essentially what we got in our bags, that iridescent stuff. So in those instances, that stuff is retailing, like the scissors are $17. And so for me, I don't know if it was just the yarn, I would be all over this mood board. But the presentation used to be a lot better. And hey, I get it. As a dyer, I try to pack things minimally. Like I avoid trying to use plastic bags because I'm using a poly mailer in the first place. I'm going to wrap things in tissue paper, but I'm not trying to add a ton of extra things in there that people need to dispose of later. I don't want more things going in the trash than absolutely necessary. And I don't know how many people reuse their plastic bags. I'd be curious. I do know that I sometimes will save these and reuse them, but I don't necessarily store my yarn in them. For me, it feels like that the yarn is definitely the star of the package. That's why everyone's buying it. It's Malabrigo. It's custom colorways. Every once in a while, there'll be a new base revealed in the box, that sort of thing. But it feels like the accessory in the box is an afterthought. And I know that it's not. I know that they're strategically planning it out a year in advance. But for me, for the price of the subscription, I expect the extras to really feel curated and special. And I think part of the year they did do that this year by giving us that iridescent thing. A lot of the things for me are not incredibly useful to me. A no snapback, definitely useful, but it's the end of the year. Some of the other things, one was like a notions pouch, but it had holes down in the bottom because it was magnetic in the inside. But you could only put metal things in there that would stick, otherwise they were going to fall out the bottom. It's things like that. Like, though I think they were meant to feel curated and special, they just missed the mark for me. If you're interested, there is still 50 plus subscriptions available in the on Jimmy Bean's website. One of the other big reasons that I won't be renewing my subscription to the Jimmy Bean's Malabrigo Quarterly Club is back in April, Laura Zander, who was the founder of Jimmy Bean's, she founded that company in 2002. And last year in April, the sale to a private equity firm took place. So it was acquired by this company called the Local Crafts Group. They are a private equity firm. Laura Zander is still involved. She's considered the chief brand officer. So the Local Craft Group, this private equity firm who now owns Jimmy Bean's, they also own Knit Picks. They own Crochet.com, Connecting Threads, Superior Threads, and Barocco. Their purpose is to operate as a holding company, and they're just going around acquiring all these growing niche fiber arts businesses. And that sits kind of in an icky place for me. So because they own all these growing niche businesses, that doesn't sit well for me. I think that feels like the fiber industry kind of closing in on itself. And not that I've heard bad things, but it does feel like there's whispers of not such good things coming from this particular sale to them. So when you go to that private equity firm's website, you'll find that their goal by acquiring these niche businesses is to improve supply chain management. We're all here for that. But also to increase margins and reduce working capital in the companies. So I think of working capital, part of that is human beings, human capital. So the idea of increasing profit margins and reducing working capital, that it doesn't sit well with me. So it feels like our industry is consolidating, and maybe consolidating too much. If you are a person that just loves surprises and you love Malabrigo, I absolutely think that this quarterly club might still be for you. But for me, I have just decided that I'm going to choose to take that subscription money and choose my own specific skeins, or save up for a sweater quantity, I'm just going to put that money somewhere else for something that I want or I need. I'm really trying, like many of you, to make my knitting budget in 2026 more intentional. And this box just isn't fitting that goal for me anymore because I don't always use the yarn as it comes in. And quite frankly, a lot of it is still sitting. So let me know in the comments, are you subscribing to any yarn clubs this year? Do you stay with that subscription for the yarn, or are the goodies or extras what you're really interested in? I'd love to know if I'm the only one that feels this way about subscriptions. So until next time, friends, happy making.